I'm Will Carr, and I'm here to fire you up.
Welcome to the Will Carr Speaks podcast. In this episode, I sit down with Shelby Hosana, the founder of the Unjected dating app. We get into all the hate and drama that she's been experiencing and Unjected in general has had here in the Denver area about people that just want to gather that have not had the COVID vaccine. So whether you're someone who's had the COVID shot, not had the COVID shot, you believe in vaccines, don't believe in vaccines, this is a great conversation that I know you guys are going to love. And so thanks for being here. Enjoy the show. Welcome, everyone, to the Will Carr Speaks podcast. This is going to be a super special episode today. I am excited to sit down with my guest, Shelby Hosana, the founder of Unjected dating app. And we're just going to get into kind of all the stuff that's happening right now. Like this is a trending topic here in Denver currently. So with that in mind, welcome to the show, Shelby. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. And I'm so excited to be in Denver after all of this madness.
Yeah. Well, they didn't stop you at the airport. They actually let you enter.
They actually let me in. I was waiting for like a protester group or something, but they didn't figure it out, thankfully.
Yeah. And so no protester groups at the event or anything?
No,
either?
I mean, they're all keyboard warriors. So they weren't going to actually like show up and debate us on true facts or anything.
No kidding. Well, yeah. So for the backstory, for anyone that hasn't heard, so Shelby and this dating app Unjected, you're making a tour around the country, not a large tour, but 4 cities doing events and for people who didn't take the COVID vaccine, who want to date other people that didn't take the COVID vaccine.
Yes.
And so the first venue you had here in Denver canceled on you. Like, tell me walk me through how this happened.
For sure. Well, I'll even give you like a little more also backstory too of how we started doing these mixers, which is I call them URL to IRL because we're all stuck in the internet and we really need to get in real life.
Yeah.
And so, even though we have this dating app or dating website, it's getting in person that is most important in my opinion. And so it's something that we've allowed other members to do for many years, was just like host decentralized meetups all over the country. And then Unjected is done like myself. We've done like Dallas and Phoenix. And so for Unjected hosting, that's kind of like a rarity. So after the last year, if anybody's known Unjected's story, it was like extremely tumultuous 2025. Well, all of the years have been, but 25 in general was a really hard year for Unjected.
Why? You would think by 2025 things have settled down. I wouldn't think it'd be so crazy anymore.
Well, you'd think. Well, it was actually more, I had parted ways with our former business partners with the wellness company, which is you probably have heard of them, very prominent. And so after we had our visions were different on what we saw Unjected becoming, and they didn't see the value anymore. And so we parted ways, and it was definitely like a lot of dark night of the soul in 2025. And I really considered giving up Unjected, but I'll digress. But so the tour was kind of like a revival kind of a thing. For myself personally, to try to, hey, I'm still in this fight. And so really, I didn't have any expectation because, mixers in the past they've been very successful, but you never know. It could be 3 people, it could be 5 people. It doesn't.
Could be 150
Could
people.
be 150 people. It could be
like last night,
a lot of people. So we purposefully choose venues that are only first come, first serve because we don't want to book an event space and then not have, the appropriate amount of people or have to, get special accommodations or like food service. Like we just want to come in as regular patrons, use their facility and leave. Yeah. So, when we chose Recess in downtown Denver, I had chose it because it was an outdoor patio and I was like, great, there's not going to be spike protein everywhere because we're going to be outside. And I'm like, and what's better than like an outdoor patio? Like, let's just meet there. I go to the website. First come, first serve. We do not take reservations. Okay, great. Confirmed what I needed to know. And I had put out a promotional flyer just with the address that said recess. And it didn't happen immediately. It took like a week before I think somebody
Was it the Denver
saw
Westward?
it.
And then like the Denver
No,
Westward picked you guys
first
up?
it was, what happened first was like somebody with very bright blue hair, and her name, I'm actually going to tell you her name. It's literally, you're not even believe me. Her name was Fat Commie Bitch is the username.
Oh, wow.
So you can imagine that she's really fun at parties.
Yeah. Making sure to invite her to Thanksgiving next year.
You could maybe tell like what her opinions are just based off of that. And so she saw the flyer and started freaking out, and she starts tagging every liberal person that she possibly could tag in an SOS. Oh my gosh, look at this super spreader event that Recess is hosting. And so then these liberals just start tagging Recess out of control.
Yeah.
Within hours. Like, it was like an avalanche of trannies and things. And it was really shocking. And then it was like within 24 hours of just being obliterated with comments, Recess.
Yeah.
You know, how dare you let these anti-vaxxers in your establishment? You're a private business. You can do whatever you want. And they sent me a DM, and it said, hey, we noticed that you are going to be holding a meetup at Recess, and it's totally fine. We just ask that you don't film.
Mm.
And I said, sure, no problem. We're super respectful. We just want to enjoy the vibes, and we're going to be a pleasant group and tip well.
Yeah.
They heart my message. They say, great. We're all on the same page. We want to keep Recess a fun, welcoming environment for all.
Yeah.
And they do a handshake emoji. Okay. So
Cool.
I think we're all on the same page here, right?
Yeah, that sounds great.
So I've got
things are going well.
Everything is going fine. And then within 12 hours of that DM, that was when Fat Commie Bitch had tagged Westworld and every news station in Denver on the post. And that's when I started getting the DMs from the reporters about the story that was coming out later that night. And I was like, oh, well, I guess we'll see if Recess can withstand the pressure.
Yeah.
And so I had actually started at first encouraging people to go leave like 5-star reviews, like go support Recess online, and you know, just tell them that's really great that they're supporting bodily autonomy and freedom of choice. And it was the next day, I just get a email from Recess regarding your upcoming event, and they sent me this long email that's like, basically, you organized an event without our permission. We knew nothing about it. And the caliber and size of the event requires staffing and security. And then they go into saying, and we've been receiving all these aggressive and violent threats. And of course, I know that's not from our community.
Right. But
they send this email out, and I responded to them like, whatever, cool, you should be embarrassed. I'm sure it's written in an article somewhere.
Yeah.
I said, because
someone quoted you.
I did. Well, I
quoted somewhere.
I texted the picture of it to everybody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, oh my gosh, now I'm losing my train of thought. So
You're good. Yeah.
The Westworld. So
the Westward picked you up, and the Westward made a whole article about it, and they said like
mixer.
a shingles mixer. Yeah, instead of singles mixer.
So
and
it was like all within 24 hours. It was the shingles mixer, and then they updated the story to say that Recess canceled the venue. Oh, I'm sorry. So they sent the email, and then they immediately released their public statement that they had put on their Instagram.
Yeah.
And it was like 10 slides of bullshit. And it was like, Recess never was sponsored, affiliated. We did not know. They also then put the statement again that says that they had received all these violent and hostile threats.
Yeah.
And due to safety concerns, that's why they had canceled the event. And that statement, I mean, it was seen like hundreds of millions of times, and it was a
Yeah.
complete lie. And so, I thought it was interesting that they tried to make it about policy when
Right.
it was
Yeah.
entirely about us being unvaccinated.
Right. And here in 2026, we're still, 6 years past the COVID epidemic, if that's what we want to call it.
The scamdemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are, we still have all these people freaking out that a group of people that didn't have vaccines. And it's like, from my perspective, it's like, one, why do these people not realize that probably half the people that they meet walking down the street don't have the
Of
vaccine?
course, yeah.
So like, if you go to any establishment, you can just guess that probably half the people are vaccinated
Right.
and half aren't. So yeah, why throw a temper tantrum about this to begin with? But yeah, it's just wild. 6 years later, this is still happening. So you get to the Grizzly Rose. So the Grizzly Rose, obviously a great spot here in Denver. They pick you guys up and say,
Yeah, so
bring your crowd here.
As soon as we got canceled, I'd made that video, which I think is how we met each other. And the owner of the Grizzly Rose, Scott, had reached out to me, and he says, "You're welcome at the Rose." And so we connected over the phone, and he's a really amazing guy who also had withstood a lot of I won't say what his other job is. I don't know if he wants me to, but a lot of pressure for what he does in his other line of work. And so he's been in it deep on the front line as well. And he said that they had an event in 2020 that Westworld had written about, calling him a super spreader back then. And so I was like, oh, well, so you're used to this. And he's like, yeah, if they want to do it to me again, I don't care. I've learned that it's okay to stand up for what you believe in.
100%.
And so, yeah, we were welcomed with like open arms to the Grizzly Rose. And, it was kind of funny, like to see the shift of like the liberals that were like, oh, well, we would expect that at the country bar, the MAGA bar. You're like,
yeah, what?
Okay. So yeah, no, it was a great time though. We probably had more than 150 people come through, and nothing but like the smiles and laughs. And, yeah, good times.
That's awesome. And then, so the next bit of progression of this story is that I just saw a few days ago, you filed a lawsuit against Recess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me kind of what led to that decision and like why that felt important to you.
Well, it felt important to me because of a lot of reasons, but what happened with the way they changed the narrative to make it sound like Unjected had just inappropriately, booked an event, didn't ask for permission. They kind of like, and then of course with their statement about the aggressive comments, it's just like blatant defamation of the organization. You should have said that the aggressive comments were coming from pro-vaccination groups.
Yeah.
Not one of them came from, our organization. And when I say aggressive comments, I mean, they were saying that they were going to show up at Recess and burn down the building with the unvaxxed people in it.
Oh, wow.
They were going to show up with guns. They told one woman to show up with her baby so they could sacrifice the baby. It's like these people are actually demonic. And I believe that's because the mRNA has really taken a lot of their souls. And they are programmed now to like be Mr. Smith agents and protect the Matrix at all costs. And the volatility that they received, like Recess should have called up the Denver police and said, oh my gosh, we're having some people in our restaurant, but we've received now threats of arson, of murder. And these are the Instagram handles of the threats that they came from. And instead, Recess decided to basically capitulate and side allegiance with these violent extremists. And side with them. And, you know, what had happened is they started getting, of course, lots of 1-star reviews while they were still hosting us. You know, you guys are disgusting. We're going to call the health department on you for having infectious, dirty people there. And that's really what they think of us. And so, you know, what a lot of people have already said to me is like, well, it's a private business. Can't they do what they want? And that is not necessarily true because of the way that they did it. You know, if Recess had come forward and just said, you're not allowed to be here because you're unvaccinated, I would have had respect for that and I wouldn't have done anything. But instead, they welcomed us through DMs, tried to change the story like I didn't ask for permission. They knew nothing about it. And then put out statements that painted our organization in a false light. So, you know, for me, it seems like they just handled this so wrong. But, you know, the reason that they don't have, in my opinion, immunity with the situation is because the ADA specifically has a clause, which is, don't quote me exactly. I want to say it's reasonably as.
Yeah.
And basically, if you perceive somebody to have a medical condition or disability and you deny them public accommodation for just perceiving them as disabled, that's a civil rights violation.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Recess did, is when they conspired with third-party people, that's when it became a civil rights violation. If they had just said, as a private business, we don't want to have unvaccinated people here, then that would have been what it was. But they intentionally conspired to make sure that we were not there. And then, you know, I did find that the day after the release, the statement, they had changed their website to say, you know, whatever fit their narrative now. Like, you know, you must have written permission, Recess, blah, blah, blah. And so I don't think they knew that an internet archive existed or anything. So, you know, I thought they thought they were going to get away with that and just say, no, that was been our policy the whole time. But wasn't that true? So no, you know, for me, it's more about the principle.
100%.
It's all about the principle. And, you know, unvaxxed people, like after receiving the comments that I've received in the past 2 weeks, it didn't shock me because I knew from 2021 that this was what they felt about us. But I think that 5 years later, you would think that the science is so perfectly clear. And even the government that these people abide by has admitted so much harm from these vaccines, not even vaccines, these biological weapons. And so it's you almost like had like a hope that like, oh, maybe people have woken up. You know, because at least like as an anti-vaxxer, a lot of people have said to me like, oh, you're still talking about COVID? Like that was so 5 years ago. Like you're stuck in the past. You're still on that. Nobody talks about vaccines anymore. And it's like, actually, are you sure about that? You guys are completely stuck in the past. And we just wanted to go have a drink outside on a patio. And you literally thought we were going to give you a disease.
Thought we were gonna start a zombie apocalypse here in the Denver area.
Yeah. And so you know, it's interesting though, like, because the government pitted us together in such a way that now truly, I do believe that the unvaxxed need to be listed as a protected class under the Civil Rights Act, just like any other disability or race or gender. Because
I think it's not about disability. Like, you know, it might be under the same act, but it's more just the idea of discrimination in general. Like, how would people feel if a private business was like, you can't come in here because you are Asian?
Right.
Like, you can't come in here because, you can't come in here because you're Jewish.
Yeah.
Like, how would people feel about that?
Right.
Like, people be in an uproar. There'd be no one supporting that. Right.
Yeah.
So the idea that people think that just because of your health choice, that you believe in natural health and you believe in natural immunity, and you didn't want to take these shots that had very little to no testing that the government rolled out in Operation Warp Speed, that they can just deny you access or say you're not welcome.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, sure, private business has some bit of ability to do that, but if you're a public business, like you can't just discriminate.
No.
That's just wrong.
Yeah.
Like, and we should all be able to agree on that.
Well, you would hope so.
Yeah,
You would
think.
hope so
You would think.
in America. You know, and yeah, and a lot of it too is, and yeah, I like that you said it's not, you know, obviously we're not disabled because we didn't get a vaccine. Actually, we're more abled, if anything. But also it's just like our, it's a religious, you know, like Unjected also has like a lot of religious tenets that like and reasons for why people stayed unvaccinated. And so they're also, you know, discriminating against our religious freedom as well. That's why people also remained unvaccinated. So not only are they medically discriminating, but they're also, you know, religiously discriminating as well. And we went out there yesterday and I took a video in front of recess, and all the employees started coming out and taking pictures and glaring at us, and I just waved up at them. But they feel that they are in the right. And what I think like the cherry on top was for me, really, when I was like, I'm done now, was they blocked me. And then the second they did, they posted a story, which of course an Unjected member sent it to me. So I don't know what you guys were thinking, like, you're so smart. But like, they've sent me
the mRNA affecting their brains.
Yeah, they've got prions disease. And so they send me this video that Recess reposted. Vaxxed to the max and ready to climax. Getting ready for our shift at recess. You can't cancel us. And at that moment, it became so obvious that you had sided with the pro-vaccination group and were celebrating it publicly on your stories like you had won something triumphantly. Oh, you can't cancel recess. We're so vaccinated. Like, actually, we're just not going to play that game today. You messed with the wrong unvaccinated people this time.
Were you wearing your shirt? Were you like flashing it?
Yeah, low high was losing their minds yesterday. The amount of looks I got walking
give us
around.
a good for the camera. Let us make sure we see that. Yeah,
please. Yeah, no. Situation critical for sure. Like a lot of aneurysms yesterday on the street. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, let's talk a little bit about the journey of you starting on Unjected, because I'm curious about that too. Like, you started in 2020, right after
2021.
Like, okay. Yeah. Was this like, was it like you're creating an app for yourself?
No.
Was that no?
That's funny. No, actually, at the time I was married.
Okay.
And I, what had happened is, you know, all of 2020, I had, you know, Hawaii was in extreme lockdown. Well, actually, wait, I'm going to take it back even further for you. I was injured as a teenager by the Gardasil vaccine.
Oh, wow.
And that was really actually my awakening to the pharmaceutical industry and complex, and that, you know, vaccines can actually, you know, they can kill you.
And what does that mean? Can you explain that? Like, what do you mean you were injured by the Gardasil
vaccine? So the Gardasil vaccine is probably like one of the first depopulation shots, if you know, in hindsight, looking back. But it's for HPV cancer, like prevention. And so they marketed it to all young girls to get this shot to try to prevent HPV cancer. And it's a 3-part series of injections. So you get one 6 months later, and then you get one 6 months later. And you have to have 3. And right after the 3rd shot, I developed like a myriad of heart conditions. And I was just a complete healthy teenager to like, I couldn't even go up a flight of stairs.
Oh, wow.
Like they would catch my heart like at like 185 beats a minute while I was sleeping. It would jump like over 200 if I tried to do anything. And so like for many years, like most of my high school experience, I was hooked to heart monitors and I was in and out of the hospital. And, you know, I was like the kid who had to use the elevator because I couldn't go up the stairs. But it was interesting because at the time I did not know I was vax injured. It was like it's an anomaly.
Yeah.
Like I would see specialists and cardiologists, and they're like, we literally don't know why it happened to you. Just maybe it's your genetics, and it's so also doctors don't know how to notice vaccine injuries.
Right.
But when
They're incentivized not to.
of course. And then when I was pregnant with my my daughter, my first, that was when I really started looking into vaccine inserts. And I read the actual inserts of these vaccines, which is not the one that your doctor gives you. It's the 5x5 giant sheet that you unfold, and it's the size of your body. And you have to specially request those. And sure enough, I look at the Gardasil adverse events sheet, and every single thing that happened to me is listed there.
Wow.
And so I'm like, oh, well, so I guess I diagnosed myself as vaccine injured, but I truly believe that was what did it to me. Because I mean, it was within days of having that injection, and not one person made that connection, which is interesting.
Well, and for people that want to say, like, because there's people that want to be like, that didn't come from that Gardasil vaccine. That's not a vaccine injury for you.
Yeah.
Well, what I would say to those people is, well, then why is it listed as a possible side effect?
Yeah.
If you're going to try to say that no one can get injured from this vaccine in that way, why would the vaccine manufacturer actually list it as a potential side effect?
Right.
If it's not a potential side effect, why? Like, a company's not just going to list random side effects that aren't possible.
Just for fun.
Yeah, they're just gonna be like, yeah, let's just list everything in case, it's like, no, if that's not a possible side effect, the company is obviously not going to want to list that as that. So so continue, please.
Yeah. And so really that was like my that's how I became an anti-vaxxer, was when I was pregnant with my daughter. And so I remember taking her in as a newborn to a pediatrician and being treated like I was a murderer. Everybody gets that answer, like, what about polio?
Mm-hmm.
What about the measles? You always get that stupid question. And I knew at that moment that I wanted to build so much armor of knowledge that the next time that I was accosted by a professional, that I would be confident in my decision making.
Yeah.
And so my daughter was born in 2017. So she was 3 when COVID rolled around. And so, Hawaii was like super Nazi psychotic because we only had we still only have one hospital on the whole island. And so they would have this like fear campaign of, we only have 7 ICU beds. So if there's a shark attack and 2 car accidents and 5 COVID patients, you're done. No one else can come in. And so the psychological like warfare that they did to the people of Hawaii was pretty wild to watch. I mean, we couldn't go to the beach. They were ticketing people for swimming in the ocean. I mean, people swimming with masks on in the ocean. I mean, that's like natural selection if I ever saw. But, so I watched, like, I really just kind of stood on the sidelines in 2020. And because I was pregnant with my son. And, but I knew that I was not going to get a vaccine. And I knew that whatever was coming up was going to be a problem. And it was kind of like waiting for that shoe to drop. I don't know if anybody else felt that. But when the shots rolled out and like for the general public in like March of 21, I had
It was so fast. It was almost like they had them ready prior to
Isn't
it
that weird?
happening.
Hey, does anyone ever notice that how many shots that they gave around the planet, they would have had to been manufacturing them for at least 10 years, you guys. But let's not
surely
ask
that's not the case.
any questions.
No, that's not possible.
It's impossible, right?
I don't know what I'm thinking.
We don't use science and facts.
What's math?
What? And so when I was like, I don't know if you guys remember how Pfizer tried to hide the clinical study information for 75 years. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that for sure.
So it was right when that federal judge had stopped that, and they released the first segment of pages. And it was, so the Pfizer clinical trials, pages 67 through 76, stated exposures in pregnancy. And this is what I found really the most captivating for myself was Pfizer was listing that men who had the COVID vaccine should not have unprotected sex for at least 90 days.
Whoa.
Then they also go into talking about how anyone who comes in contact with a trial participant is considered an exposure in pregnancy.
Mm.
So that would mean that even if an unvaccinated man were to come home and impregnate his unvaccinated wife, but he worked around vaccinated people, that was an exposure in her pregnancy. And that was because, and then it was like
From the spike protein.
because of the shedding. And so Pfizer basically admitted in the initial clinical trials that it was shedding. And they even continue to talk about how every pregnancy that has been around a trial participant, vaccinated or not, should be reported to Pfizer. So I knew at that moment that it felt like it was very clear to me.
Why do they want this data?
That this is a depopulation agenda, and that I felt very confident that they were going to be sterilizing everybody. I felt like everybody was lining up to get their euthanasia shot. And, I had 2 children at the time. My third wasn't born, but I couldn't imagine it, so really Unjected was not for me. It actually was, for my children, which sounds ironic because they were just babies.
Yeah.
But I looked at them and I thought, there's not going to be any people left for you.
Yeah.
And not like it wasn't like I'm going to make a dating app so you can find people. It was like, we need to build a community.
Yeah.
Because now we have, it really felt like there's 2 categories of humans, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
There's patented humans and there's unjected humans. And so that was, like my gut decision. But then, how it came to fruition was my godmother, the one you just met.
Yeah.
She was on Tinder and we're all on the phone and she's like swiping through and she's like, oh, this guy has a mask. This guy has a vaccine, in his bio, like, don't, vaccine this, that. She's like, I'm never going to find anyone. And I was like, and then it kind of then it really made sense to me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we need to make an app. And so, yeah, that's when Unjected was, I literally put it together with tape and paper clips, but I launched it in 6 weeks. And so in May of 21.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because literally, I would say that's one of the first questions I ask anyone I go on a date with. Is,
I don't even go on the date.
Did you get the
but
vaccine?
I won't even go there.
It's like the second text that I said, did you get the vaccine? Tell me your favorite conspiracy.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we on the same page?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's definitely, I think, what people really felt grateful for in the beginning too, was because they didn't know how to have that conversation at first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel? So how do the people in the community, and is there anything on your app? So I haven't been on your app,
Okay.
but is there anything on the app? Because, I had this question arose, I can't remember, in some type of conversation a while back with a friend. It was like, just because you ask someone, have they been vaccinated, and they say no, knowing their partner history.
Yeah.
Because if a girl might say she's unvaccinated, but have you ever,
what have you been doing?
Yeah.
Have you been sleeping with the vax?
Have you slept with a vaccinated
sleeping
person?
With vax people?
Because I basically, are you essentially vaccinated at that point?
Do you have AIDS?
Yeah.
That's what I call it. It's AIDS.
AIDS?
Yeah, vaccine-acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. It's AIDS from vaccines. It literally is, and I call it a sexually transmitted injection. And so Pfizer made that perfectly clear.
Yeah.
In their clinical trial, and yes, I absolutely agree with you. I think that it goes several layers deep. Unjected people, I'd say, definitely, for the most part, would say they would not want a partner that has ever been with a vaccinated person. Mm-hmm. But then there's some people that are that would leave almost no one. And as long as the person themselves is unvaccinated, maybe they can stomach it, or, whatever it might be. And so there's layers, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, this might be my next business venture. I might start a unvaccinated sperm bank.
Well, I can help you because we already. So on the first version of Unjected, we had a sperm and egg directory, and we also had a breast milk and surrogate
Wow.
directory. And so people would go in and publicly list themselves in the directory. And people have connected to donate sperm. They've donated kidneys to each other. We did have a blood donation section as well,
Wow.
because blood is also completely tainted. Blood transfusions are not safe any longer. So really, it's Unjected is a all encapsulating lifestyle. It's everything.
That's cool. Cause I mean,
Yeah.
that's really like, you talk about the dating aspect of it, which is, very interesting and cool in its own way. But like when you start talking about organ transplants
Yeah.
and, people that actually need egg or sperm donation,
Yeah.
which that's actually something that's really close to me. So I'm a product of sperm donation.
You are?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So I like the TLDR on that is basically, I have a disabled brother and my parents were told they couldn't have undisabled children.
Oh,
So they had to use a sperm donor from a sperm bank to have
wow.
me.
Wow.
And I have the
That's
greatest
so
parents.
interesting.
Like
Yeah.
my dad is an incredible man
Wow.
but obviously I don't look like him. But the best dad ever. And it's like, so that's something that I really have thought of, it's like this need, because like when my parents did it 30 some years ago, 35 years ago, this wasn't something you had to think about.
Right.
But now it's like, if I were to go through a process and someone needed something like that,
Yeah.
it'd be like one of the first things I'd want to know
Yeah.
is, has this sperm, like, what is their medical history?
100%.
Yeah.
And they say that like in fertility clinics that the request for unvaccinated sperm and eggs is like through the roof. Of course, the media won't cover that, but
Right.
that was one of the things that originally got us shut down in 2021 was Apple actually threw us off the App Store.
Oh, because they said you were unregistered.
We violated their terms and agreements because people were corresponding about the vaccine in the app. So it was completely illegal as well. They violated our free speech. But one of the reasons was they would say that people were talking about eggs and sperm. And so that was it. So long story short, it hasn't been reintroduced yet back into the app since we've been back on for 2 years because we went to a website for many years. But I want to bring it back.
Yeah. So there is no app on the App Store.
No, there is now.
Okay, it's back.
So we got thrown off in our first like 6 weeks. We got like about 60,000 downloads, and then they shut us down. And then I went to unjected.com, the desktop version, for several years. Excuse me. And then in 2025, we were able to get the app back on the App Store. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you just coughed. I want to make sure you're not.
Yeah, I know. You
you're
guys,
not, like,
I was
super spreading something, are you?
I was singing a lot at Morgan Wallen last night. I'm sorry. What's that? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. So what's next with you for the app? Like, what do you like? Where do you see, like, what are you most passionate about with this business, and where do you want to see it go?
The app has been a technical hellhole. It's if anybody were like look up Unjected reviews or whatever, you might look, oh, there's so many bots and spammers and whatever it might be. And I hate technology, and I never imagined myself building an app. I never was like a technical person. And so like to be in the app world has been challenging to kind of like compete with, because Match Corporation owns every single dating app.
All of them, yeah.
So every single one. Bumble, Tinder, they own them all. eHarmony, except Unjected. But so, people are really used to these platforms that are like multi-billion-dollar
Mhm.
development funds. And Unjected literally is like the most grassroots, mission possible. And so sometimes I think that people, if people listening have struggled with Unjected app, we know and we're sorry. But we do have now 2 new developers that just came on
Cool.
to the team in February, which are actually Unjected members since 2021. And they came on as volunteers because Unjected does, people think like, oh, you have an app, like you must be making all this money. No, Unjected does not make any money at this time, you guys. We were literally completely doing this just like for the love of the people. And
That's awesome.
it would be great if one day we keep the lights on for the support of our people, and we're really grateful. But I think the app has a lot. It has a lot of work to go, and I'll admit that very openly. But we have a good game plan.
Yeah.
And
you have a strong community of people that love what you're doing.
Thanks. And so really, I think my focus, because development takes just a long time. So there's a lot of downtime while code gets written. And even though there's AI and it's still a lot. It's a lot of work for 2 guys. So I really want to focus on like in-person meetups, like more than anything. I think it's really important. And then also maybe like Unjected retreats, or I don't know exactly, but it seems like people want to be in person, and that's exactly what the government hates, is a bunch of free thinking people getting together and talking about what they're not doing correctly.
Right.
Yeah.
Bunch of people that are just willing to question things
Yeah.
and have
Critically
conversation.
think.
Yeah, critically think. Well, we're in the right place because we just started Let's Do Retreats. So
Really? Perfect.
We an Unjected retreat might be something that we could help pull together.
Yeah,
That
we
would
should
be
do a
really fun.
matchmaking retreat. Like we could sell like just a certain amount of men's and women's tickets, so we have the right amount of matches.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah,
It'd be super fun.
we're gonna
I
make
think I just went to
Sorry.
that tall tour.
what is
Have
it?
you heard? It's like a meetup for tall people.
No, I don't know about this.
It's like what you're doing, except it's like
For tall people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they did like a whole like matchmaking thing there.
That's so funny.
I went because I've seen it.
Did you meet a bunch of tall people?
Yeah, it was awesome. I went and I play basketball, so I have a lot of friends that are like tall, and so when I go out with several of my friends, it's like we'll walk in and it's a crew of all guys 6'7" to 6'11".
Yeah.
And but no, it was cool because you go there and you see guys that are like 7'3", 7'4", and I'm like at 6'10", I'm like, whoa, this is how everyone feels when they meet me.
So the conspiracy theorist in me is like, oh my gosh, you guys are the descendants of the giants.
We're Nephilim.
Yeah. You guys are the leftovers, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Hey. Yeah. I'll have some conversations with you off camera about that one. The whole bloodline thing. That's what, honestly, without getting too far down the rabbit hole.
Oh, we can go. I'm already down there.
That's what all this is about.
Yeah.
All this stuff is about bloodline.
Absolutely.
And all of these injections, all of this mRNA, it is all about affecting bloodline.
Yes.
And even everything that's happening in the Middle East, everything that's happening in our government, it is all about bloodline.
Yeah.
And if you go back, regardless of if you're religious or what you believe, if you go back and read the Dead Sea Scrolls, you will find it is all about genetics.
Mm-hmm.
And how did these genetics change, and what bloodlines went where, and what parts of the world did they move to, and who is in control of this. And at the end of the day, that's what all this is about, trying to change our genetics.
Well, that's what they did. I mean, the mRNA shot altered our God-given DNA strand to be a double helix to a triple helix. Mm-hmm. And they are patented, and they are owned by the patent holders. There's I can't remember exactly the name right now at the moment, but it's a clause that they created for genetically modified animals. Basically, what was it? The Geneva? No, I can't remember right now, guys. But
well, the Geneva Convention.
it's not Geneva. It's something similar, like human rights stuff. But basically, like, you can't patent human DNA is what
part
this
of the Nuremberg codes. Is that what you're talking
kind
about?
of.
Maybe.
Excuse me, guys.
Sick.
Sang way too much. I've got the black lung because I'm unvaxxed. But basically, what the idea is that, like, if you genetically modify an animal, then the government can say that now that it's a patented DNA structure, they hold reproductive rights over these animals. So and the reason they say that is because what if there is a disease or there's something that we need to fix? And so at any given time, any of the animals with the patent can be culled or whatever it might be. And so I do feel that this is what happened to the people. I mean, now that, sorry, my God, now that they are owned and patented, who owns their reproductive rights? And like a lot of people have a hard time like understanding what that even means, but like Monsanto would be an example of this, which is they genetically modified all of their crops and seeds to have specific gene sequences, and when these crops would blow over into neighboring farms, then Monsanto could go to Farmer Joe and test his crop and say, look, it has our DNA sequence in it. You actually owe us money. You're using our seed and our patented information.
Great example.
And so that is what they did with the human DNA. And so, like people like love to call Unjected like, oh, you guys use pure blood, like Nazi language. And it's really like nothing to do with that. Like purity is not a bad word.
Right.
Like who doesn't like pure water, like pure air, pure food? It's like, I think they just tried to like villainize that. But it's about just, having blood that is not mRNA free. This is, I do feel like it was the mark of the beast. I'm a very opinionated person, and I know it's a lot of people like don't agree with that statement, and they're like, no way, like it's crazy. But I think that it goes so spiritually deep that time is only going to tell what happens from here.
Well, I would say it's more of like a test. Like it's more like a test for humanity. Like if we're really diving into
100%.
the parameters of what would be viable for the mark of the beast, there's so many things like you can't transact. Like you can't. So whenever that comes, it's there will be more.
Yeah.
But this was obviously a test for humanity. All the pressure.
Yeah.
It was, you can't go to concerts. You can't do these things, which I think that's where the parallel is of like the mark of the beast, and people that know and understand that, who've had, read those religious doctrines. But yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, there's a lot, I'm not going to say whether or not I had a fake card.
Sorry.
Did
you have a fake card? I'm going to ask you. Did you?
I will not disclose. I will neither say yes nor no publicly if I had a fake vaccine
never
card.
Had a fake card because I would have been embarrassed to even fake it. I am that unjected. I'm like, I will never.
Well, I'll say this. I was in a foreign country.
Okay.
Right after the COVID pandemic happened, and in order to get through customs,
you had to use a card
and that's why I don't know. I'm not past the 7 years of statute of limitations yet.
Well, I wouldn't worry about that. They murdered everybody, so
I had to have certain documentation to be able to get back in the country.
Okay. Well, that's okay.
So I wanted to come home.
We'll forgive you.
As much as I enjoyed being in Central America.
No, you gotta get home.
I wanted to get home at a certain point. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And I think that this is not the end. There's going to be another scamdemic, absolutely. And, Bill Gates has already done his, if you remember, he did his, what was it, like Project 201 or whatever, right before it came out. So they just did their next one to game plan for the next scamdemic. So Event 201, yeah, or whatever. So everybody go check that out and go listen to what they say, because everything they said about in the last one did happen. And they're saying that the next, scamdemic is going to have a 40% kill rate, and it's going to affect mostly children. And the difference between, COVID and this next one will be so much different because, we were ostracized and slandered and removed from spaces when we were grandma killers. When people think that we are killing their children, we will be loaded up into FEMA camps immediately. And the comments I got in the past 2 weeks show that these people will throw us to the wolves at any chance that they get. They are not our friends. They walk among us, but many of them would let us get loaded into the trains and laugh. So,
And let's define fascism here.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Your opinion of it. But, it's really important now, like while we have this like lull or like this downtime, that we are getting in person and really finding our people. And I think that's why my hopes for Unjected with URL to IRL is really that you can find your community before the next shit goes down. I mean, because it's going to be way worse next time. This was just the starter. And so you need to find your doctor you can trust. You need to have a farmer you trust. You need to have neighbors that aren't going to turn you in. There's a lot more, fight probably left to happen for in the spiritual war. So
totally, because that's what this is. It's a spiritual battle.
Yeah,
like it's a spiritual battle. It's a battle over bloodlines, and people that think that that's conspiracy. Like I would just encourage you to say, even if you think that's a conspiracy, the people that are in charge, and when I say that, I mean the people that run the world, the people that run the central banks, the people that control the governments, they believe in this stuff.
Yeah.
Like they believe in these type of spiritual practices. And so whether you believe in it or not, they believe in it.
Yeah.
And so to understand that they believe in it, at least understand that that they are doing these things because they believe it. They don't care if you believe or not.
Yeah, exactly.
They're doing this stuff. And, kind of the way that I would, wrap this up is it's like, I tend to agree with you that there is going to be another, event where they try to scare people. I mean, they're constantly trying to keep people in fear because they know that we are vibrational beings. We're energetic beings. If they can keep us in our lower chakras, if they can keep us in fear, we can't be in this elevated state where we can create and where we can build this utopia on earth. But what I would encourage people and anyone listening to this is there might be scary things ahead, but understand that you are a child of God. Like you are a divine being. You are protected. You have nothing to fear.
Yeah.
And not only is it going to be okay, I believe that what we're transitioning through right now, we're actually stepping into the most elevated timeline that humanity will have ever experienced.
I agree with that.
And like, not just like heaven on earth is almost not even a drastic enough way to put it.
We're going to the 5D, you guys.
Yeah. We are moving into a new world that is going to be so beyond people's expectations and understanding and belief of what is even possible.
Yeah.
Like we're going to just shatter paradigms of what people think reality can be. And, but it starts with all of us as individuals and being a sovereign being who can make free choices for yourself. And so my outlook, because I think it's important to say this because sometimes we talk about these things and it can be easy to kind of get into like a dark rabbit
100%.
hole, right?
Black-pilled.
Yeah. And we're like, oh, it's so dark. It's so bad. The evil elites are going to run us and all this. But it's like, I love telling the story of David and Goliath from the
Yeah.
Bible of, God told David, go and get 5 stones because Goliath has 4 brothers. You're going to need 5 stones. Like, he didn't say, go and fill up your bag of stones. You're about to face some giants and it's
Right.
going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, no, I am God. You are my child. Go and get 5 stones. That's all you're going to need.
Yeah.
So, that's where I want, people to understand. It's like, yeah, it's interesting diving in and talking about this stuff, and because it's very real, it's very relevant. But at the same time, we should wake up with nothing but a smile on our face and hearts filled with joy every day.
I love
for
that,
what's coming.
I love that you said that. Yeah, because I don't like to be depressing or intense. And really, I feel like a lot of us had, like there's the red pill moment where you figure everything out. And then you go to the black pill moment where you're like, we're fucked. This is bad.
Yeah.
And you have like this existential, like, oh my gosh, is there anything positive out there? But you have to get to the gold pill, everybody. That's what happens after the black pill is the gold pill. And yes, exactly. Life is beautiful. We are sent here for a reason. We literally got put on the front line of the apocalypse. Like, how cool, that we chose to come in at this time. And, I really believe that, the children will be fine. At the end of the day, like, the children will be fine. And, we are children of God, and, the light wins. So
100%.
There's nothing that that they can do to stop God from winning,
Right.
So you guys, like, there's nothing to fear. There's literally nothing to fear but fear itself. And I think that's absolutely the moral for everybody is just go forth doing whatever you want to do if it makes you happy.
Yeah. One little tiny speck of light can illuminate an entire room of darkness.
Yeah. Right?
So
amazing.
all it takes is that one little thing. So Shelby, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Having this conversation. I'm a super fan of what you're doing. You're a wonderful person.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And you're a very cool person as well. Thank you for bringing me down to the studio today.
Yeah. Tell your mom I said hi.
Oh, I will. Well, you'll come meet her, obviously.
Oh, peace.
I'm Will Carr, and I'm here to fire you up.